mic to Alicia to let her introduce her friend.
Said Lisa's my very best friend, so I'm very excited and honored to have her here in her tonight. Lisa Shell-Allan is an entrepreneur, educator, certified etiquette consultant, certified professional life coach, and community leader. For 20 plus years, she has led diverse enterprises ranging from business management and city government positions to etiquette consulting, event coordinating, and life coaching. Currently, she has dedicated her business acumen to expand her business and mission to teach and coach people to be at ease with etiquette, style, and professionalism through Allendale Finishing School and LSA Life Coaching. Allen founded and has owned 3 companies: About Cakes and Catering, Allendale Finishing School, and LSA Life Coaching. At About Cakes and Catering, she coordinated events ranging from weddings to corporate events, including Chamber of Commerce galas, under the leadership of Allendale Girl Camp, a nonprofit arm of Allendale Finishing School, has grown from an idea to a thriving, sought-after summer camp experience for young girls. Graduates demonstrate proper etiquette and entertaining skills critical for future leadership success. Through LSA Life Coaching, Allen has coached college grads to senior executives, helping them realize their true potential. As a community leader, Allen served as Mayor Pro Tem for the city of Martindale, Texas. Allen graduated from Texas State University San Marcos with a Bachelor of Science in Family and Consumer Science Education, and has taught Family and Consumer Science in both Texas and at San Marcos Baptist Academy. I welcome you, Lisa Shell-Allan.
Just love technology. We can't live with it and we can't live without it. Well, good evening. Wow. You know, Alicia listed all of those things. And I sometimes, after I hear that, first of all, after I go, because it makes me exhausted to hear those things. But it also makes me want to sum it up. And I can sum up that entire intro with 3 letters. A, D, D. Because you have to be ADD in order to be able to do all of those things. Oh, it makes me absolutely laugh. I most importantly want you to know, yes, ADD, that's all fine and dandy. However, the most important thing that I want you to know about me is that I'm just a regular girl. I'm just a regular girl who grew up right here in Orange, Texas, and graduated from Little Cypress Murraysville High School. And I'm thrilled, absolutely thrilled and blessed to be here. And so I think there's a few important thank yous. And the first thank you that I want to make tonight is to all the gentlemen in the room. Ladies, I'm amazed at their service. You know, I heard a wise person say one time, leadership is servitude. So I saw that exemplified tonight. Thank you, gentlemen. Another thank you, I came to understand that the Old Orange Cafe catered. Is that correct? So thank you. The food was delicious, absolutely. And then the next thank you that I want to make is specifically to Alicia. Alicia and I have been friends at least since I was in the 9th grade, where we would lay on the bedroom floor in her house and solve all the world's problems. And as far as that life coaching goes, she's been mine for more years than I'm willing to admit. Long, long time. Thank you, Alicia, for having me here tonight. And then Miss Betty. Thank you. Good golly, Miss Molly, this is a huge event. And it is, well, thank you for organizing it. Thank you for making the details work out so beautifully and perfectly. And then the last but absolutely not the least, we have a guest. I have a guest, in my opinion, in this room tonight. My mom is here. Where is she? She absolutely made me every single thing that I am that listed all of those different things. So thank you for being here. So tonight, this is going to be a little bit weird to not be able to move. I'm not sure how this is going to work out, but we'll work it out. All of these tables. So Alicia, when she asked if I would come and speak to you tonight, I said, well, what is your theme? She said, well, we don't have one. Every table is a theme. All right, so let me think about that for a minute. Tables. So obviously that's your theme of this event. So what do we set tables for? Because that's what you've done, all of these beautiful tables. What do we set them for? Why do we set them? And who do we set them for? Has that ever crossed anyone's mind? I will tell you, let me let you in on a little bit. Ultimately, I am a teacher. And so during my talk with you tonight, some of it is going to be rhetorical, some of it is going to be cooperative. So feel free to engage if I ask a question. So when I think about what we set the tables for, and who we set it for, and why we set it, I happen to have a demonstration to show you tonight. That at the end of tonight, you're going to be able to not only know the who and the why and the what, but it's my earnest hope and prayer that every single time you set a table, forever, that you'll be reminded of the who and the why and the what that you're setting these tables for. And not only will it serve a purpose to remind you, but it'll also hopefully give you an opportunity to be able to share with others. And that's kind of why we're here, right? Yeah. So this is a question that I would like some feedback on. What do we set tables for? To eat, absolutely. What else do we set them for? To socialize. To set a mood. I think each table has a different mood, absolutely. One more. Absolutely. To bring families together at dinner. I also think about holidays, which is that very reason. I think about special occasions. Obviously, you set one tonight for this women's dinner. Then the why question. So now we know what we set it for. Why do we set it? This goes a little bit deeper. To gather together with those people that we talked about, with your family or your friends, absolutely. To be organized. To be able to communicate with each other, absolutely. When you're setting your tables, be it at home or here in this facility, do you ever think that not only do you want it to be aesthetically pleasing, but you want to, I'm going to just dare to use the word impress. You want to impress other people. Is anybody on that page? Is there a competition here? Is there a competition? Yes, say that again. Absolutely, it is a woman thing. We set tables to impress because when someone else comes to the table, we anticipate that they'll say, oh, Betty, would you look at this china? I have not ever seen this china before. Oh, let me tell you about that china. It was my grandmother's. And then there we go. So it helps to build relationships. It helps to get to know each other. But at the same time, we think about that. We think about that impressing. And so another element that I think about when I think about setting tables, because yes, it does have to do with wanting to impress, does it show the real you? When you set a table, I'm making an assumption, so please correct me if I'm wrong. Is it a group effort for each table, or is it one person? All right. There are doubles tonight. Just so that I can see, just briefly, if you were sort of the spearhead of your table, would you just stand up? And I would venture to say that those of you who are sitting at a table and the person who stood up, I would venture to say that that table represents either that person or those people in some kind of way. Is that accurate information? Yes. Alicia? I got so tickled. I told Alicia that when I wasn't quite sure what your attire was and what all was going to be going on this evening. And so I told her, I said, I'm coming in, I said, I'm crossing over between Alicia and Lisa. I'm wearing purple, but in a suit. Purple's always been Alicia's favorite color. I love it. So showing the real you at that table, that brings me to a story. And this is where it's going to be hard. Can I make this one?
It's on.
Hello? All right, I think that's going to be better. Okay, so at least I can move around a little bit. So I want to tell you a story quickly about impressing. This has been probably, 10, 12, 13 years ago. My sister-in-law, first of all, I like systems. I like things to be in a particular system so I know where they go, and doesn't mean it always goes there, but at least I know where it goes when I'm ready to put it there. So I had a system with socks. Socks. Does anybody have a sock system? Okay, I'm not alone. Praise God. Well, quite a few years ago, my sister-in-law, I guess I had obviously shared my sock system with her. She gave me a nickname. Now, ordinarily, I might not use this phrase, however, it is a quote. And she told me that I was the sock Nazi. Because this was my system. First of all, when I claimed in the very beginning ADD, you don't lick that stuff off the grass, and it does come down the pike. Therefore, my 3 boys have different variations of that very same thing. My oldest son, Parker, when he was in kindergarten, he wore socks and shoes. We lived sort of in the country, and he would rarely even wear socks and shoes, and so going to school, that felt a little restricting all by itself. And he would come home and he would complain about the seam in the toe of his socks, and that would bother him. Well, in all reality, here's this child who's supposed to be paying attention and following instructions, and all he can think about is the seam in the bottom of his sock, or in the toe of his sock. Well, I, being the mom that I am, I went out on a mission to look for socks that did not have a seam in the toe. That is not an easy feat to accomplish. But nonetheless, I did. They're at Old Navy, and they're very good, and they're very soft. So I created this system, and because I also like things to match, and I had 3 little boys, and they were all young and coming up, I thought, well, one for all for one. Everybody's going to get socks from Old Navy. Well, socks from Old Navy are not cheap, and so I did not want them to be lost. Was my part of my intention. So I created a system, and then when I would get home with the new packages of socks that might have 3 different sizes, and my boys were very young at the time, I would sit down on the floor in their bedroom with a black Sharpie marker, and I would put 1 dot on my oldest son's, on Parker's sock, on the toe. And then on Cooper, my number 2, I would put 2 dots. And then on Miles, my number 3, I would put 3 dots. So that I would know, because they all looked real close to the same size, so that I would know who was who. Now here was the deal. I didn't let them keep their socks in their room at all. I kept them in the laundry up above where they could not reach them. Now you realize, let me make sure I understand, I know that you understand what is the purpose of those dots. So that, because when you buy really good socks, they actually last. And because my children were growing, I could pass them down. So when Parker would outgrow his 1-dot sock, I would take that black Sharpie marker and I'd put another dot on it, and it became Cooper's 2-dot sock. And then when he outgrew them, it became Miles's 3-dot socks. Y'all think I'm crazy. It was my sock system. It was wonderful. So here was the deal. Now earlier, I see that it appears that all the gentlemen, except for one in the back, just go with it, have left the room, and that was pretty timely. I will say, God is perfect in every way. However, men, boys, they're missing a chip. They are. Men and boys do not put their socks away. They are sock flickers. You're laughing because you know exactly what I'm talking about. Ladies, we get home, we've worked out, we've done whatever we're going to do, we take off our shoes, we take off our socks. If we're not near the hamper, the socks probably go inside the shoes. Worst case scenario, lay over the shoes. If we're near the hamper, and we're not going to wear those socks again in the next day or so, we throw them in the hamper, right? Can I have a show of hands to women who do this? You see this back there. I just want to make sure we have a witness. Men are missing a chip. They walk in the door, one shoe goes this way, the other shoe goes that way, they sit on the couch, and the sock goes like this. The washing machine and the dryer do not eat the socks. They don't. It's the couch. Because you know I'm right. So here was the deal. So I told my sister-in-law how I had solved this missing sock issue. And so that when Parker needed a pair of socks to go to school, he had to come to me and ask for them. And then I would hand him a pair of socks. Then the next day, when he would say, Mom, I need some socks, I would say, go find the ones you had yesterday. Bring them to me. 2 socks gives you 2 socks back. Sock Nazi. I did not really realize at the time that the whole purpose of the underlying purpose of a lot of that had to do with me impressing other people. Because if my because socks have to match. I mean, to me, they have to match. And so if my children went to school, well, first of all, if they didn't match and I couldn't match it in the laundry, then that would make me crazy, and then that was a problem because it made me crazy. So I wanted them to go to school and look particular in a certain way. And that was how I did. Ladies, do you know how much time and energy it takes to be the sock Nazi? Good golly! Oh my word! Well, I know you've all heard the story about Martha and Mary and the difference between, Martha was always setting the table and making sure that everything was just so, and Mary was sitting at the feet of Jesus. Well, I was Martha, and mind you, I don't think that Martha Stewart got her name accidentally. I mean, really. Anyway, so I was running in that Martha mode. That was then. Now, I don't match socks. I rarely buy them. I might wash them, and I dang well don't match them. They come out of the dryer into a bucket, good luck. You know that you're no longer Martha and or the sock Nazi when your youngest child is getting ready to go to school and he's wearing one black sock and one white sock. Because that's going to reflect on me, right? What are they going to think? Oh, what is the matter? What's going on in that house? So, now I coined a phrase. Martha's perfect. That also takes a lot of energy. I'm a recovering perfectionist. You can be one too. It is amazing. And every single time that my child, even to this day, Miles is now 15 and a half almost, every single time he wears different socks, now it's the fashion, now it's the style. So that would have blown me really away back then. But I'm reminded that it's not important for me to impress in that regard. So, by the way, you can claim that. You can share that story and you can claim that, absolutely. So a few years ago, I was asked to do a speech similar to this at a mother-daughter conference in New Braunfels, and it was called the Shine Conference. And I don't remember if I was a sock Nazi at that time or not, but I was certainly not very far away from it if I were not. And I wanted my speech to be just right. And I worked on it, and I studied, and I researched, and I worked some more, and I studied some more. Ladies, it was the day before, and I had not pulled it together. I mean, I just couldn't pull it together. And I was taking all my stuff up to the facility to prepare it for the following day. And I got out of the tub and got ready to put lotion on, and, because we all do that, right? You do that, you put lotion on the tub. And I realized I had bumps all over my arms, and I had bumps on my legs and my tummy. I broke out in, I had hives all over my body. I don't do hives. I thought, this is ridiculous. And then it occurred to me that I was trying so hard in that Martha kind of way to pull that speech together, and I couldn't. I absolutely couldn't. And I stood there in my bathroom, and I kid you not, after realizing what I just explained. And I'm looking in the mirror, and I'm talking, but I'm really talking to God. And I'm like, all right, obviously, I don't have what it takes in my own strength to pull this together. And if you want me to go to this mother-daughter conference in New Braunfels and speak